now? Oh, fuck. That was the wrong thing. Why did I even do that?
Oh,
Uh,
what? I did that. Ah, moaned for no reason.
Manic
Pixie. Jump
Jump
scare.
Scare. Hosted by Quinn Murphy
and Becca Hobart.
Hi,
Hi.
we're
We're
Quinn.
Quinn.
And
And
we're
we're
Becca.
Becca. And welcome to Manic Pixie Jump Scare, a podcast where Becca and I talk openly about our shared delusions
Passions
and
and love
love
for
for
each
each
other.
other.
Very musical.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Speaking of musicality, one of my most musical friends, Becca, is. And Becca, I actually have a surprise for you as we start today's podcast.
Stop. What?
So I was making tea downstairs after Mama Hour, and I
Okay.
was like, my usual mug that I use, it's like my hyper fixation, like comfort mug, was in the dishwasher. And so I was like,
Okay.
huh, what mug should I use? And then I saw one, and I was like, that actually reminds me so much of my friend Becca and like her cause and what she's like up to all the time. So I got this one. Because you love rainbows and shit.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly. So
Love
it's a
wins.
for those
Oh,
of you listening, it's a white mug with a rainbow on it, and it says "Love wins." And I got
it
it because I
sure
wanted to show my
does.
allyship towards Becca because I realized that she's,
One of
a
them.
little fruity. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to recognize her, and I wanted to stand with her most importantly.
And I thank you 2 months before Pride.
Yeah, and
It's good to just clear that up.
and I don't just believe that love wins. I believe that love is love too. So
That's all we really need from allies everywhere.
literally.
So I thank you. I thank you.
Pride Month, more like Pride Year, baby. I think
Yeah.
it should be
Go and buy those mugs.
because
Go
I
and buy
love my
those
gays so
shirts.
much. Literally,
Exactly. My gaze.
when Target comes out with their Pride collection, I'm in those aisles. Like, what can I?
Spending
Where am
eighty-eight
I
ninety
going?
nine.
Literally on
You
two
better believe
items because
it.
it's Target.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
won't.
One pillow, one shirt.
Literally, I won't use the Pride binder, but I'll buy it in solidarity.
Thank you. I love it. Well, thank
Yeah,
you. What a great
of course. I love to
surprise.
support you whenever I can.
Yeah.
Um, but Becca, what has actually been going on this week? I ask as if I don't know.
Well, it's crazy because, like, I think you do because, like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I saw you this week.
Guys, Becca and I did something radical and we actually spent time together as friends in real life.
It was crazy.
Literally.
Yeah. And
You
we
might have
didn't even
seen we
bring up the
posted.
podcast once.
I don't think we did. I think it was a nice break. We weren't even
Yeah.
like, yeah.
We
We
weren't on Merc mode.
we did post a picture on the podcast Instagram for any of our astute observers
Well, of course.
on the
Yeah.
story.
Mm-hmm. In the throes of karaoke.
Literally,
Yeah.
where we found
So we
ourselves
did that.
multiple times this weekend.
Yes. Basically the whole weekend,
Yeah,
actually.
basically, it's karaoke themed,
We
you could say.
karaoke'd. Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so Becca, what were we even up to even?
Well, first of all, the big reason, which I had been looking forward to for months, it
Uh-huh.
was going to be you and I's second time seeing Caroline together.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did the just that. We saw Caroline Polachek perform once again.
Yes, that weird girl.
Um, yeah, that freak. We love her. We love
Literally.
her. But yeah, and I mean, so she always like kills it so she kills it so bad every time because
Literally.
she's just
Mm-hmm.
so good. But the venue this time, well, first of all, Quinn had a whole moment trying to get his ticket pulled up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I like guys, what am I hate about modernity like, why do we need usernames and passwords to literally everything ever?
Yeah.
Like, it's
It's a
so
bit much.
exhausting. It's so like every time. Have you ever gone on a website and like you can't even look at their website without creating an account?
Yeah.
Oh, like shopping websites, like, ugh, they're usually like resellers. Like, I was randomly looking at like shoes yesterday. It was on this website, and you couldn't even look at the listing without making an account first.
It's despicable. It's
It's
rude. It's
so like I'm
really, really
not gonna give you
rude.
I put in a fake ass email and I made a fake password.
Yeah, and that's fine.
So Jasmine Master 69, you're getting an email saying you're me from that website. So
Oh
whoever
my
owns
God.
that Gmail domain, I hope you enjoy it.
Good luck. Best of luck
Um,
to you.
literally. But yeah, so anyway, I bought my tickets through AXS and I forget if I had checked that earlier that day or if I was I know I was on Ticketmaster earlier that day. But anyway, I checked it like within the past week, I'm gonna say. And then we're in line. And so something else Becca and I did before we went to the concert is we actually got like pretty stoned.
Oh, guys, it happened so fast. Like
No, it was
it
like
was fine, and then it happened so fast, and I was scared.
yeah, no, we were at my friend Kat's house. Shout out to Kat for letting
Yeah.
us stay in her house with her all weekend.
Thank you, Kat.
And she offered us some of the wacky tobacco and
Mm-hmm.
we partook. And for some reason, I didn't watch Becca do it, but like I partook as if I partake regularly, which at this point I don't.
Yeah.
And
Me
I was just,
neither.
yeah, I was just like, oh, I just forgot that for a second. And then I just took like two like healthy hits. And then I was like, oh yeah. And then I was like, oh, what did I just do?
I don't remember. Like on the way to dinner, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then sitting down at dinner, I don't remember saying anything
You were kind of quiet, but I was also
because I
like,
was so scared. Because I kept thinking about what I was gonna order for dinner, and I kept laughing in
it
myself
took
to my head. So I was like, I'm
no,
not gonna
and
be able
like
to
it
do
was
it.
way like the men like it was so challenging with the menu. I was
It
like,
was so
I couldn't decide what I was
hard.
gonna order either. And like we were sitting there, it felt like we were sitting there for like an eternity
Yeah,
before the woman took
exactly.
our orders. It might have been 5 minutes, really, in the grand
So
scheme of
true.
things.
It
Um,
no, time was molasses and my body was air.
yeah,
Yeah.
we were through dinner. Um, No, dinner did take a really long time because we got there at like a normal time, and then we were like, I remember being like, oh, we might be late to this concert if we don't like
Right. Leave
skedaddle,
immediately. Yeah.
literally. So, yeah, so we go to the concert, and so we're like starting to come down a little bit, or at least I am.
Yeah. I
I'm
am.
starting to come down just a little bit, but like still kind of like in it. Um, And then I go on to AXS where my ticket is, and it's like, oh, you have to log in. And I'm like, so this is the wrong thing to tell me. And
This was really rude.
yes, exactly. And so then I have to literally like reset my password in line, go onto my email, do all that. And then when I try to log into the account with my new password, it's like, oh, we need you to verify your email. Even though I was literally just in my email recovering the password. And like,
Do
girl,
y'all
that was a
remember that?
mess. What?
No, I said, do y'all remember that?
Literally.
Like, no, but AXS is always like, they're so annoying. Every time I like log in, they're like, oh, no tickets for this account. And I'm like, so then where are the
Where
tickets?
is, pray
Where,
tell, the tickets?
yeah, where is that ticket? But I ended up working it out that morning because I knew that that was probably going to be an issue.
Hmm.
So, it happened to my good friend Quinn, but it could have been me.
Yeah, and it was like such a mental challenge at that point in the night. I was like, I was about to fall apart. But anyway,
Yeah.
we eventually ended up doing it, and then we went into the venue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes concert venues like to do this. I don't get the whole like. I'm interested to understand what the difference is because like at this venue, we had to be in like a special area because Becca and I were like, oh, we're adults. What if we got a
Yeah.
drink at the concert?
Exactly, of course.
And so we go, but they're like, you are in like a paddock if you want to
Like,
drink.
yeah, like a gated.
Yeah.
We were living in the gated community, like it
And the
was, but we
bar
weren't
was
allowed out.
literally, yeah, exactly. And the bar was like under like a second story they had at the concert venue. And so you literally like it cut off like my tall ass, like the top of like Caroline's like visual kind of set was like a little cut off.
Yeah.
Um, and so I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But it's weird because so I've been to two venues in Philly where that's been the case, but then I've also been to other venues where it hasn't been the case. So it's not like a city thing,
Mm-hmm.
but and yeah, I've never experienced that elsewhere. Like we were talking about Kesha
Right.
and at like the Anthem in DC, I did not have that experience either.
No, I've never had that experience at a concert before.
Yeah. I
Never
have.
ever.
When Becca and I went to see or not Becca, Kat and I went to see Slater. That was
Mm,
the same thing. But that one
okay.
was like that one was worse because that was like in the back.
Oh, the
Like
bar
the
was in the
whole bar
back.
area was just in the back, so you like couldn't.
That's
I
really
mean, the venue
rude.
was really small, but like,
Uh-huh.
it was like being in the back of it if you wanted to have a drink.
Gotcha. Mm,
So,
mm. Also about that bar, I wanted a vodka water,
yeah, this
and
was
the woman had the nerve. She goes, I have no water, so I would have to charge you for a bottle of water, which I knew would be like $12 extra. So I was like, okay, I'll just take the vodka then. And she was like,
Oh, you
yeah,
said that? I didn't realize you
yeah,
said that.
yeah. I said, I'll just take the vodka then. And that's when she was like, you just want vodka? And I was like, sure, I'm just gonna take a shot of vodka. And she was like, okay. I was like, oh my God.
Why
She
didn't you
being
do
so
soda
mean.
water?
I just like, I don't know. I just
And I'm
didn't
not
feel
victim
like
blaming.
that.
I'm not victim blaming,
No, yeah,
but
of course. I don't know. I just like I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just do a shot. Like, don't mean much
sure.
to me.
And
But
then I proceeded to pour some of my tequila seltzer into Becca's
and that was
drink
helpful. That was actually helpful.
to
So
help her
thank
out a little
you.
bit.
Yeah. Thanks
And yeah,
technically you knew. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, we watched the concert and it was a grand old time. Caroline Polachek constantly raising the bar and doing it flawlessly.
Exactly. Like, guys, the room when she plays Bunny as a rider, like
Electric.
electric. Yeah, electricity actually. Don't act shocked though.
Don't act shocked. And it was like a very the crowd at like indie concerts always like I have a premonition of my life that I'm gonna meet my immigrant partner at a concert of some
I could
kind.
totally see that for you.
Like I feel like I get like premonitions of that every time I'm in a concert space, and maybe it's just because I always find people hot. Like maybe it's
Right.
just because all my fellow fan bases are like hot people.
Yeah.
Which could be true,
Can't rule it out.
literally. But yeah, it was like the again visually it was stunning, and
Hmm.
my favorite part, of course, because I was so gagged by the whole gate last tour when she did what song did she do? Oh, not Door, not So Hot You're Hurting My Feelings. What's the other big one from Pang? Oh, Pang.
Bang.
The
There
title
she
track.
goes.
There she go. When she did Pang, like whenever she would say Pang, like there would be a little flash of the gate as a
Yeah.
reference to her last tour, which Becca and I also saw together. So I was like,
Mhm.
whoa.
Loving that. Yeah. No, it was awesome though.
Yeah, and she had this whole volcano. I assume she was on like it was a very ecological, like, because the whole thing is like, welcome to my island. And so the
Yeah.
island does have volcanic activity.
Yes, many
Um,
different sort of like geographies going on
yes, it
there.
was erupting. There was a lot of activity going on the island, some
On the
dancing
island.
even.
We haven't confirmed how large the island actually is.
No, actually.
Or
Or
its
its
particular location.
whereabouts. Yeah.
Yeah, not
Hmm.
yet, at least, not yet. I am on that case. Just know that.
Much
I'm
like
looking I'm looking for
Lady
my own
Gaga with
evidence.
January 6th, Becca is looking for evidence of Caroline Polachek's island.
It all comes back to Lady Gaga on January 6th. Let's just say that.
And guys, I did this happen like before we recorded last week? I don't know, but Lady Gaga has been appointed by Joe Biden to some kind of thing. And so
Arts committee.
if she wasn't already emboldened in her search, oh baby, she
Oh.
is
Now she could potentially get a raise.
Literally. Exactly. Lead investigator. I don't think that people know this about me, but if I wasn't a pop star, I would be a combat journalist, is what she so
Yeah.
famously said.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's what we have to go off of at this point.
Mm-hmm. It's all we can do. It's all we can
Ah,
do.
but yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had one more thing to say about the concert. But what were we? Oh, every time Caroline spoke, she sang great. Every time she spoke, I did not understand a single word this woman said the whole time.
Yeah. It could have been anything. It
I
could have
don't
been
know if
anything.
I don't know if it was the acoustics. I don't know if I had a processing issue from the amount of marijuana I consumed. Like, I don't know what it was.
Yeah, no.
But
I couldn't
yeah.
hear the girl. I couldn't hear the girl.
Yeah.
And I
So
said to Quinn, thank God that last tour when she sang Parachute, she did like an 8-minute story time vlog before. And
yeah.
it was so like she just didn't do that at all this time. And I was like, thank God, because I wouldn't have heard a word
Yeah, she didn't have
and
time.
it would have taken forever.
Which is
Yeah.
kind of weird. It's kind of weird that she did that in retrospect because she just said what she says in the song, but before she actually sings the song, right?
Exactly. Like it definitely wasn't
Parachute
necessary.
literally just takes you through, and then I did this, and I did that, and then she did the same thing for like 8 minutes before she even sang it. So
Yeah.
awesome that she worked out. It's artistic growth.
She took some notes. She took some
Literally.
notes. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, definitely go see her if you can,
literally.
guys.
Yeah. I might be going again when she's performing with Ethel Cain.
Right.
That will truly be a game
Right.
time decision because I just
We're
bills are
gonna have to
affected.
see. The income
I'm
is
acting
coming, not
shocked.
coming in.
Income is
Yeah.
not coming in.
The bank
All of
is
it, all of it, all of
closed
it. The bank is
for
closed. It is
purposes. It's
for
true. They
purposes.
confirmed. They
Hector
confirmed.
is not at the
I
bank.
Oh, Quinn, by the way, I found out who Hector is. Because you like wouldn't tell me earlier.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't
I
know.
what did you say I didn't know?
I didn't know. No, I didn't know I wasn't telling you.
I didn't know because I asked, okay, who is Hector? And you just went, I was like, okay.
I was like semi-lucid the whole weekend. Like I don't think I was truly in control of my actions the whole weekend.
Oh, definitely me too. Also, something I have to admit, my blood sugar was so high the whole time for some reason that I like couldn't crack the
Really?
code on. So I felt so much extra loopy,
Oh
but
my God, Becca.
it's not anything that anyone could have helped me with.
Mm,
So why bring it up?
literally.
I was like,
Well,
let me just enjoy the damn weekend
I just enjoy
and call Nick
myself.
Jonas later about this. Yeah.
Literally.
But it's all good.
But anyway, so that was the concert. And then we met up
Right.
with Kat and my friend Ian, who's also in town for the weekend. We went to
Mhm.
karaoke.
Icons, icons.
Did you do karaoke that? Oh, yes, we did karaoke together. Of course.
Yes,
Of course,
I
of
did
course, of
rain
course.
on me with you.
Yeah, so it was my second time performing Rain on Me. And it was nice because my partner wasn't paralyzed with fear this time. So
Wait, who was sang with you the first time?
Corey and I did it in Fort Lauderdale
And he
on
was paralyzed with fear?
like we like got up there and I did the first verse and I like came in very strong.
Uh-huh.
And then it got to the second verse and it was like he was like just fully like wasn't singing. Like was kind of just
Oh.
looking at the screen like and deer in headlights kind of moment. And so I started to sing a little backup.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And so
Yeah,
but I
no,
didn't
I
have to
was
do that this time. I didn't
excited.
have to pull that trick
Yeah.
out.
I was really excited to play Ariana's role, but apparently my microphone didn't work.
Yeah, it wasn't coming through, but I saw you singing and so I was like there was a disconnect because
Yeah.
at that point I traded my high for my drunk.
Right.
And I was getting into that bag for the night.
Yeah. Of course, the natural flow of things.
Uh-huh. But yeah, we did Rain on Me. Crowd loved it. I also
Mm-hmm.
did The Loneliest Time with my friend
Oh
Kat.
yeah. That was really good, guys.
Yeah. I felt that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
The energy was amazing. It was a good energy at karaoke. There were some good people too.
Yes.
But
There was fully one woman who was like amazing.
uh-huh.
And yeah. It's just like, whoa.
I generally enjoy like a bad vibe at karaoke. Like even when I'm trying to do something good, I kind of do it a little bad because I don't want to be one of those people that like is stunting at karaoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just for funsies.
Yeah. And I try to keep it a for fun thing, because then if it's like I've had to explain this before, but sometimes karaoke, like, yeah, it's nice if you can sing, but then sometimes if you like are a singer, it kind of feels like you have something to prove at karaoke. And
Yeah,
so it can kind of become not fun quickly.
right. Where you're like, oh,
But
they practiced.
literally.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that was kind of our first night.
Mm-hmm. Then we woke up the next day. We got
Watched
big.
Yeah,
We
watched a lot
did
of
watch
Dance
Dance
Moms before
Moms.
getting bagels.
Yeah, we got bagels. Um, bagels, $50. Boom.
A little
Um,
$50 here, $50 there.
yeah, no big deal, no big deal.
Literally.
Um, and then we went to this really amazing place actually, which I would
Mhm.
definitely go back there again.
It was very fun. It was a very fun way to spend an afternoon.
Yeah, it was basically like a little sit down like cafe restaurant thing where you also pay like a down payment and you get
Yeah.
to like use all of the games they have. It's like a game place.
hmm
Um, so we got to play some games. The
Literally.
big one, the big old one being Clue.
Yes. We,
Oh
much
wow.
like Lady Gaga, we were investigating. We were looking for evidence.
Oh my God, we were in all the
Can we make a
locations.
Lady Gaga January 6th clue? Like, can we make that the theme of the clue?
Okay, don't like literally, guys, if you heard that, don't
No.
steal that idea because that is
Literally.
so trademarked right now.
Was it Q Shaman in Nancy Pelosi's office with the speakers? What's that called? Podium.
Yeah. Was it that guy that I was supposed to be set up with in the parking garage with the Jeep?
Literally.
Oh
Oh,
boy.
that's such a good idea.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
but yeah, we were playing Clue. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking at two Clue champions is the thing. Two
Two of two.
sleuths.
Yeah.
Yeah, of the two games of Clue we played, Becca and I won both of them.
Yeah.
Well, one each.
Yeah.
Um, I won
Um,
the first one, and then I
right.
will say that Becca got a little bit of a hint. Well, actually, a big hint with the second one because
Also, I was trying. I'm laughing, but like I could fully just like see Kat's cards the whole time, but I was trying not to like
she didn't
use
care
that
that second
knowledge.
game. She was not marking anything down.
She did not care.
She did not
I
care at
know.
all.
Yeah. And then so Kat, our dear friend,
Uh-huh.
um goes to make her like big accusation, right? So this like if she's not right, it will be her out of the game.
Her demise, her badge will be revoked from the detective
Yes.
agency.
Right. So she's looking at she guessed like what mustard with the knife or whatever in
Uh-huh.
like the study or something like that. And then she she opens the thing and she's like, "Huh. I think there's actually been like a miscommunication about a location." And we were like, "What?" And then she just goes, "Is the courtyard a place?" And we were all like, "Oh, yeah, it is." And so I was like, "Okay, I think it's there."
He's
And I
there.
think I can make my
I
accusation
think it's
now.
there.
I think it's gonna be at the courtyard then. So yeah, but it's still a win on my part.
Literally, because with that, I was close to it as well. Like I had the person and the
Yeah,
location with that clue figured out. So,
it was just a matter of time.
but yeah, I did win the first round as well. We also played Bananagrams,
Yes, a classic.
classic game.
Classic.
And then we also played this fun like party game where there was like a judge. It was kind of like apples to apples, but if it was like a board game a little bit, and like if there weren't actual like cards, you just wrote in answers.
Yeah, that is what it
Um,
was.
but that yielded some
Th-
funny
that was pretty
stuff.
funny. Yeah.
My personal favorite one I submitted. Actually, I don't know if this is my personal favorite one. I should have written them down because I feel like I had a couple good ones. But when it was Kat was judging, and one of the questions was like, "What's something you plan on doing to improve your life?" And I
Tell them
was
what you
like,
said.
I was like racking my brain, and I was like, what? Because I hadn't won like a funniest yet, and so I was feeling insecure about it. And so I was
Oh.
like, I was like, okay, oh, dance moms. And then I was like, and then I wrote down a dance mom's quote being, I don't know, probably Baskin Robbins, which is what Abby replies when she's like not
Scooting
scootering,
away.
but scooting down the
Yeah.
street in her wheelchair. And the producer's like, where are you going? I don't know, probably Baskin Robbins. And so that really tickled the
She's zooming,
crowd.
dude. That
Oh,
was a good
another one
one.
was what's something you saw today but couldn't have that made you like upset. And then I wrote, because we had watched a Glee highlights reel earlier in the day, and I said Jesse St. James until the drywall in the choir room rots.
It was great.
I stand by that.
Mid-afternoon. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly,
Did
exactly,
need to be said.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, and then we had another lovely dinner, and
Mm-hmm.
then we went to Swifty night.
Yeah,
hmm
voice.
Yeah,
Which of course started with you better believe it, karaoke. Yeah.
karaoke.
Yet
Exactly.
again, yet again.
Yeah.
We were kind of brave participators, us and the other like 5 people in the room did
Yeah,
decide to
guys,
like
it
go
was
first.
so I felt like because Becca and Ian had like it was their first time, but Kat and I, this was our third time going to a Swifty night at this particular venue.
hmm
And that is only within the span of this year. Like we have been to ones there 3 times within this year,
Wow. Wow.
together. And so yeah, but it's usually much better attended. Like this one, for whatever reason, was not like
You
very
guys kept
well.
saying because probably everyone's at the other one.
Yeah, there was another one that was at like maybe a bigger venue. I don't even know, but there was another
Mm,
one in like the city that night. So maybe that one got more people. But
gotcha.
we thought this one had like a loyal fan base because we've seen like in the 2 times we were there, we saw a lot of the same people come to both.
Okay.
So
Third time.
third
It's
time
all
was not the
right.
charm actually, but we did actually get to do karaoke this time. So because the first time we went, there was karaoke, but we got there a little too late to participate.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha.
and then, but yeah, and
No,
I
it
was
was
just,
fun.
yeah, but by Saturday I was also so zonked because
Yeah.
I like did not really slept that well Friday into Saturday, and so I was like, and then
Yeah.
like and then our dinner made me a little my tummy because we got so
Right.
somebody was having a birthday party at the place where we ate dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Mexican food, so y'all know I'm going in, no
That was
questions
clear.
asked.
That was obvious.
I'm going crazy.
hmm
But then so then they were like, oh, happy birthday, and we all sang happy birthday because one of my favorite things to do, sing happy birthday for a
Mina.
stranger at
Right.
and add a little Mina twist to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Happy birthday, dear grandpa. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
I love doing that. And then they were like, the people who were having the birthday were like, oh, do you guys want like some cake? And I was like, oh, I'll take 12.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like 12.
and
Exactly.
I
And we
literally it was
did.
like
We
a
did.
chocolate on chocolate on chocolate cake, like so much chocolate going
hmm
on. I took like 2 bites and I was like, ooh, because it was just so rich and like it might have hit at some other point, but I just had a
hmm
belly full of meat and rice,
Right.
and
So there's a
that
lot going
chocolate cake
on.
really the sugar, something about it just went in and said, ooh.
No, yeah. Yeah.
And I
That,
usually have a
yeah.
steel trap for a stomach, so I was just like, ugh. Like I when I get a tummy ache, I'm a little like, I don't know how to deal with myself. Um,
This is crazy, guys. This is crazy.
tummy ache survivor is the thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then that was our little, and then we called it kind of earlier that night than the night before, and
hmm
then we went home, went to bed, and then Beck had to get up at like 7 a.m.
Yeah, I rose up
Becca rose up. I
because
still was up
I
before
rose
her
up.
because I started this annoying thing where I wake up early. Um,
Uh-huh.
and
You
I'm
wake up
always that
that
first person
early?
up at the what?
I saw you get up. But I wasn't
Yeah,
sure if you were just going potty or something.
I
Or if
probably
that was like your to
was,
wake
or maybe I
up.
just got
Okay.
bored and was like, oh, let me go. But
Okay.
yeah, I am usually one of the first people up at like a slumber party kind of situation.
Gotcha.
And then I'm like, "Ugh, someone else wake up. Like, I'm bored.
Right. Got
Because
you.
like you
Got
can't
you.
really do anything until other people wake up, you know? Like
Yeah, it's so true.
it's like this weird limbo space. But anyway. And so
Yeah,
then
no.
Becca went
I
to
rose
work
up.
like a brave soldier.
Yeah, I was acting shocked when I was like, I'm weak and I'm tired.
Yeah,
I was like,
so
how
you
could
lift
that
a box,
be?
you said no,
No, actually, I can't.
no.
No, I was like so like I was in a bad mood at work. And then I was like,
I can understand why.
yeah, I was like, okay, I'm so tired.
What was your shift like?
Like what time was it? Or
Yeah, what
like
time was it?
it was it was from 10 to 4.
Oh my God.
But
Yeah.
so yeah, so like I woke up at 7. I packed my damn bag. I put on my little flippy floppies and I walked in my booty shorts to my car,
Uh-huh.
as every
Yeah.
good girl does.
I heard the whistling from the
Um,
street.
of course. It was going
I
crazy.
said, I'm trying to go back to
Um,
sleep.
sleep. But and then yeah, I went home. I showered so hard. That felt so good. And
Mm.
then yeah, I hit it to work. And I don't know. I just got like sweaty there and like that made me upset too. So I was like, ooh,
All the alcohol coming out.
yeah, kind of last straw vibes.
Sunday at Ulta.
Sunday at Ulta, last straw vibes. Yeah.
No, I understand because when I got home, I took a fat ass nap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I understand.
I wasn't gonna reveal that until
Oh, okay. Cut that
we'll
out.
cut that out. Cut that
Cut that
out.
out.
It'll be a bleep, 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 bleep.
Yeah. And I
If I can
understand.
figure out how to do that with the new editing software.
Or, or.
Well, anything else to report upon?
No,
No.
no.
Stop asking.
In the name of love. Okay.
Exactly.
Yep.
So Becca and I are gonna throw to a little break, and then a past version of ourselves, a past incarnation. We'll be back with our guest from last week, Miss Acacia. And
Ooh.
Acacia is actually gonna be getting into some tarot readings with us. And guys, you won't want to miss that.
Mm.
Guys, I'm scared.
Okay.
Love to. So, are you guys interested in like your separate kind of readings, right? Like quick little.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So quickly, because I've had my deck just sitting here, the
Mhm.
one that I read the most with, and the Empress card is on the bottom. And oh, I love that.
Oh.
LYC, thank you so much. If I knew how to take this background off, I totally would, but I'm an old lady and I could not figure it out.
It's
But
okay.
the Empress card was on the bottom of the deck, and it was just like, I flipped it over. I definitely get that vibe from you. So the Empress card talks about being in your dominant feminine energy. It's being that boss. It's being able to really manipulate a situation
Wait,
to
sorry. Is this for Quinn or Becca?
for the both of you. Just like
Oh.
Oh,
just like the
Oh,
quick little
okay.
vibe, the vibe that's
Oh,
been hanging
okay.
here for the most
I'll
part.
take it. I'll
Yeah.
take it.
So, because I definitely get this from the both of you. I definitely get like Empress energy. You guys, you may have your own insecurities, as everybody does, but they're not
Mhm.
loud and proud insecurities. They're very like, yourself and you know what you need to work on, what you don't need to work on, but you don't ever let that show. It's very like you're a dominant force to be reckoned with. You're the boss bitch of the group, pretty much. Like you're able to just wave your magic wand and shit gets done. You know what I mean?
Love
Um,
that.
And I shone
so
my gloss.
yeah, the Empress is ruled by Venus, which is all about love and, self-power and dominancy and sexuality and really being in tune with that feminine nature, that right side of our body. And so you guys definitely give off that boss femme vibe. You know what I mean? So that I
Love
just kind
that.
of thought was a little Cool.
All I
That's
want to
a
be a
cool
boss then.
card.
Yeah, that's what Manic Pixie Jump Scare is all about.
Literally.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody wants to go first or anything, but I feel like I get Quinn first.
Go
Okay.
for
We'll
it.
trust you. We'll
So,
trust you,
okay.
Acacia.
The
That's who
expert.
I get. Which, so like I said, I have like so like Becca asked me earlier if like I ever do like spreads or anything. So
Uh-huh.
like, the big one that everybody knows is like the 3-card spread or like the Celtic cross. I don't really do that. I kind of just sometimes I get like messages, like little download things, and I'm like, ooh, like I should say that. Like right now, for instance. So typically like cards fly out. Those cards, when they fly out, have obviously some importance, and there's upright, there's reverse, but like with you so far, it feels very like closed off a little bit. It's not that you're not open with me. It's just that you're a little reserved because you're like, I don't really know. So I don't really know what to expect. But yeah, Queen of Cups, you're not as open to reversed. You're not as open to sharing emotion very openly.
Okay.
Sometimes you ever meet somebody and they're like, they just like pour their heart out to you, like right
Uh-huh.
off the rip, and you're like, oh my God, just shut up. Like, okay, like we all get
Yeah.
it. Like
I'm not
you're
that.
definitely not that kind of person, which I know you said you have a lot of Gemini in you, which I don't have a lot of Gemini in me, but my moon is in Gemini and I relate very dominantly
Mm-hmm.
to gems. And you're able to, with that being said, like you're able to, now a lot of times people call Geminis like manipulative and two-faced, and that's not the case at all. It's because
Mm-hmm.
people are very envious of Geminis. Geminis are able to manipulate a situation for the best for themselves, like
Yeah.
not in a bad way, not in a negative way, but you're able to, for instance, it's like you said with the project type of thing earlier, like you're able to just own that situation. Like you're able to manipulate the whole crowd to believe what you want them to believe with such
Uh-huh.
confidence and such force that you don't have to like go and open yourself up emotionally for people to believe you. You just, that Empress energy, like you're just that boss bitch type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would definitely say, so you don't really have too many cards pulling out. So what I do is I typically, like, I pull a couple cards and then I kind of see like what happens. You have another reverse card, which it's the 5 of Wands upright. So one thing about the cards too is you have your cups, which rule water and your emotions. You have wands, which rule fire, your passions. You have swords, which rules your mental state, your inner emotions, your inner dialogue. And then you have the cups, which is earth, ruled by earth. The swords are ruled by air, sorry. The pentacles are ruled by earth, which rules like finance, job, stuff like that. Wands also correspond with like your relationships outwardly, and cups relate to relationships like inwardly. So with the 5 of Wands reverse, 5 of Wands has to do with like, it's a little bit of chaos. It's a little bit of like bickering type of thing, but with it being reversed, I feel like you have a lot of self dialogue that you keep to yourself that may come off as like chaotic to others, but like you're able to navigate through it very easily, very fluidly.
We talk about that all the time.
Really?
Yes, it's like a thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a thing.
Interesting. So with that being said, next card on the bottom, just getting the vibe, is the 6 of Swords. So you have Queen of Cups, 5 of Wands reverse, Queen of Cups reverse, sorry, and 6 of Swords upright. 6 of Swords is like this little guy on a boat with a woman, and swords are in the boat, and like you're just trying to paddle away. So I feel like you've had to walk away from so many different things just because you've known that it wasn't for your highest and greatest good. I feel like you've known that you have a purpose and you've had to self-sacrifice in ways to better that purpose. And like you've known deep down that there is something there. You just haven't quite necessarily nailed it just yet. And it's been this path of, I don't want to say like pain, like real pain, but there's definitely been like self-inflicted pain because you've had to walk away from situations that might have been what you thought were really good, but you knew deep down like it wasn't for you. Yeah, Page of Cups, and oop, I just had one fly out here. Justice reverse. justice reversed. You feel like you've been wronged for the wrong reasons. Like you feel like things have just not, it's not like you've ever said, why me? Why does this happen to me? Like you don't play that pity card, but sometimes you really question, like, did that just really fucking happen to me? Like that makes absolutely no sense. Like that's not even right. Like that wouldn't really, really happen.
Yeah.
Queen of Pentacles though upright, like you've always been about the bag. You know how to definitely get yourself in a position to, that is something that you've always seen in the future. Like you have to be financially stable. That's something that is like a dominant force for you, but you know that you'll be able to achieve it because of the things that you've had to walk away from. Like that is why you've had to walk away from certain things in the past, not everything, but certain things. And that's maybe why you feel like you could have been wronged and whatnot. And you've always wanted to, so we have 6 of Cups again. So we have 6 of Swords here upright, and I have 6 of Cups. So oh my gosh, the Tri-C is killing me here. 6 of Cups though is like little kids. Oop. 6 of Cups is like, wait, the people. Okay, so it's like little kids and they're like giving. So I feel like you've deep down.
Quinn is always giving.
I was
Quinn
gonna
is
say
always
deep
giving.
down, it is something that is part of who you are as a person. That's what I was gonna say. It's like giving back to others is a way of giving back to yourself. It's a way of you healing yourself and a way for you to really like overcome any of those challenges that you've had to walk away from. You have Wheel of Fortune reversed. So Wheel of Fortune is ruled by all the 4 fixed signs, which is your Aquarius, it's Taurus, it's Leo, it's Scorpio. And all of the fixed signs are very realist in nature. They're very practical in nature as well too. So you understand that like you're not the type of person to like sit there and like keep throwing your coin in the wishing well. Like you're not the person at the casino, like constantly like doing the slot machine. You know what I mean? Very practical way of understanding what good luck is and what that means to you. And I feel like something is because you have several reverse cards. So there's something that's definitely blocking you from being able to achieve whatever fortune is coming. This purpose that, you know, like deep down rooted in you is really, it's gonna happen. It's meant to happen. It's the reason why you keep asking, like, why is it like, is this my time yet? Or isn't it my time? Or maybe this is, and you have so many, like this chaos in the inner dialogue chaos. What you keep asking yourself is because there's something in the way here, more with self than to do with others. And that's why you haven't been necessarily like set abundantly free. You haven't energetically, at least, like there are things that are still held down that you have to kind of figure out. And maybe that's a way, like you mentioned with the yoga that you do, you know, having that mind, body, soul all part in one. It's definitely going to be a way for you to dive deep internally and be able to figure out what this blockage really is, because it's like it's like a knot in your back kind of feeling.
Yeah.
It's like like I'm able to keep going, but like, oh, I feel you there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, so 4 of Pentacles, it's a little dude sitting on his coin. Oh. So you really like, there's something that I get this like boss vibe, this like boss, like I call the shots. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. 10 of Wands upright has to do with carrying the load, carrying the burden for too long. And maybe you feel like, okay, like I've been at this and I don't know why it hasn't happened by now, because like I'm me. And that's great. But you have to understand that everything happens for a reason. There's some kind of ebb and flow that you're going through right now where it may feel like you're supposed to be up, but you're actually supposed to be low. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the kind of vibe I get from the tarot. But I also have, like I said, these oracle cards, which, just to get into like my little journey partly, I got into oracle cards a little bit after tarot. And And oracle cards they go into like an overall theme message kind of thing. So I have one that I got a long time ago and then it actually blew up and I was like, oh damn, I actually really like that deck. You know what I mean? It's the Moonology Oracle deck. So I just want to see kind of what else is the vibe here with you. Because I feel like deep down, like something tells me like like you really know about like I said, like this purpose, this path, this like who you're meant to be.
Yeah.
You picture it, you're just wondering, okay, but why am I not in that picture frame yet? Like what
Yeah, 1000%.
like I see it in black and like I see it in color, but in real life it's black and white right now. And I'm not really getting the understanding of why. And I'm not really sure either. I think you put too many expectations possibly on yourself, and that might be something that is holding you back. Oh, okay. So full moon in Scorpio, it's time to release negativity.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's this, what's this blockage? And it's negativity, whatever that you would define that as. Which negativity can just be like you just beating down on yourself in the simplest terms of like, I didn't do my laundry today, or like, I should have had another glass of water. Damn, I hate myself. Like something not, something so little can be so negative, but because of that, that energy holds in you, it holds in your inner being. That is really what's kicking you back.
Yeah.
Pull. I have another oracle deck and I'm like, I just want to know like what else is really happening. I'll never forget to like getting these oracle decks and thinking like, how do these even work? And then when you're reading and like one just randomly pops out and you're like, wait, whoa, that actually kind of makes sense there. Except they're a little bit bigger. So I will say it's always one thing. It's awkward to like shuffle oracle cards.
Shuffle them.
They're like huge.
They do look huge.
Get the vibe for this one. Forgiveness.
Oh.
Forgiveness. So does this necessarily mean forgiving other people and being forgiving and whatnot and learning to forgive and forget? Not necessarily. Forgiveness has also a lot to do with yourself and being able to forgive yourself for your wrongings and your mistakes and being able to move on from them and not let them hold you back. So releasing negativity could be a form of forgiveness, finding forgiveness in the little things like, you know, sometimes you see people like do those little random yoga poses and you're like, what are you doing? Like, why? But finding forgiveness in that and going, they're just in a they're in a different place mentally and physically in their life journey than I am. And I respect that. That's a big, and it's hard to do. Don't get me wrong. Cause sometimes you look at people and you look at them cross-eyed because you should, you know what I'm saying? But like, learning to step back, I find myself trying to do that way more often. It's very difficult, but taking a step back and forgiving them for being an idiot is very healing. And can really release so much energy that you've been storing, and it helps just shift your perspective and your mood and your energy. Yourself. So how was that? Did that make
That was amazing. I was surprised. I'm like very surprised. You didn't say like anything that like I was like it all felt very
she's weird. She's not
no, it all felt very pertinent and it all felt very like you said certain like there was one thing. Oh, when you were like when you said, "Oh, I think it might be that you're placing too much expectation on things," and I have like a journaling practice, and I write that like every day. It feels like about like expectation, and I'm like writing about all that, and like the fact that you just like pulled that out of thin air, like with the cards and stuff, you know, like that was, I was like, this is interesting, like but yeah, and then another thing is that like with the negativity, like one thing Becca and I did an episode that was around like our New Year's resolutions, and like I specifically mentioned, I was like, I feel like I have allowed a certain level of negativity into like my life and like my spirit and stuff. And like it's understandable because a lot of negative stuff goes on in the world. And so it's
Mhm.
not something I'm like, I think is like particular to me. And like, but it's at the point where it's starting to affect like my spirit. And so I have been trying to make a concerted effort to get away from it a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I felt like a lot of that stuff rang true.
Well, maybe going into the woods and
Yeah.
running barefoot in the thick of it might just be
Mhm.
what we have to do here.
Yeah, and I could also like
Back to it.
Becca and I talk a lot. We're like really good friends,
Yeah.
and so like it was funny seeing her because like she was also like, oh my God, how'd she know that? Like,
No, I felt like a lot of that was so accurate. Like, okay, the part where you're like, we talk about all the time how Quinn's mind moves so fast.
That's our
And
job.
like, it's sometimes like people are like, we got to catch up to Quinn sometimes because
Yeah.
like I'll sometimes watch an episode back and be like, Quinn's brain was moving at supersonic speed right here. And like, I didn't even catch
I
all
didn't even
what he
catch
was
that.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's so interesting that you remarked that. Also, I'm wondering if Acacia, you can guess what Quinn's sun and moon sign are, if there
So
was any
I
other energies.
typically, so I'm really good at guessing people's rising signs
mhm.
because, so here's the tricky part, and I would love to guess, and I feel I get really down on myself because then I get it wrong, and I'm like, damn, I'm
Don't
not
worry if you get it
really
wrong.
not that good.
A safe
Um,
space.
but so your rising sign is like how you come off to people. It's
Uh-huh.
your way in the world. It's who you were introduced as at birth. Your sun sign is then really like it's getting to know a person pretty much like through their chart. Once you start getting to know somebody more, that's when their sun sign starts to come out. It's their personality. It's really who they are. Their moon sign is your inner dialogue. It's how you self-reflect. It's how you see yourself in the world. And getting to know somebody deeply is when you start to get to know their moon sign, is when, like, for instance, like when you start dating somebody and you're like, okay, now you're like 6 months into it, 7 months, 8 months, and like you're starting to really like their true colors are showing. That's really like their moon sign. So
Mm.
as far as your sun and moon, that one's tough because I feel like you like to, it's not that you're very reserved, but you have a very, like, you do have, you're not very easily readable in the sense of like a Sagittarius, for instance, or like somebody who's, okay. Oh, are you a Sagittarius?
I have a Sagittarius sun, yeah.
That is so crazy. So, okay, my grandmom is a Sagittarius.
Mhm.
Most of the time Sagittarii are very, very outgoing, which I would say are like you're an outgoing
Mhm.
person. You're very not like quiet and reserved and like want to sit at home and not do anything.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, sometimes Sagittarius say stuff and I'm like, what did you just say? But I could get this done. So do you feel like, let me ask you this as a Sag, especially with some gem placements, I bet you're right all the time.
I do. Yeah, I do feel that way a lot.
I bet you're right. And I bet you will make it a point to be that you're right
And
to a certain extent.
yeah, that's one of the, because that's one of the things where Becca and I like, it's one of the ways I feel like I've been stepping into my intuition a little bit more in like the past couple of years, especially. Like sometimes I just like I feel like I'm getting better at like understanding how things are gonna go like before they happen. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, and then I can like make a judgment from there.
Mhm.
But
I will say Sagittarius too, you guys are the knowers. Like
mhm,
you guys are always the signs that are later in the zodiac from Sagittarius up into Pisces are truly like very philosophical in thinking. Like you really truly try to dive deeper to understand things.
mhm,
With that Gemini placement, it's like your mind is moving so fast as it is. And to verbalize what you're actually thinking, you are very smart in how you communicate and what it is that's going on in your brain. Like
mhm.
it makes sense. Not, sometimes like when people talk, you're like, what did you just say? Like you're not
Yeah, they don't actually
you know what I
say
mean?
anything.
Like you
Like,
are the complete opposite of that.
yeah.
Like everybody will know exactly what you're saying. You're very, very, very like I can't think of the word that I'm trying to
Like
describe.
eloquent and like
Yeah, very
thorough.
much like
Yes.
very
Very
thorough,
Quinn.
very much like you're just smart. That's why I was
Mhm.
just getting this like boss entitlement. Like no matter what it is that you're gonna be doing, you're gonna be running the show. Like you're not the type of person to sit back and like have somebody like micromanage you. You are the one who micromanages other people. Sure, for sure, I get that vibe.
Yeah. I feel like the Gemini comes out also in like what you said, it was a little bit more in like the interview portion about like protecting your energy. And I feel like I'm in a place where I like to protect myself. I like to perform a little bit of a vibe check before I fully like
Yeah,
get into it
Trust
with
someone.
people, but like if
Mhm.
I feel like safe around you, I can really like
open up.
let go and like let loose pretty easily.
Mhm.
But sometimes it's like they're just it's like what you said. There it's a vibe. Like there are
Mhm.
people you vibe with and there are people you
Yeah.
don't really.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
And
what
so
stinks,
some
sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
Becca and I were talking about it a couple weeks ago because we took like personality tests and like I used to get called intimidating a lot in high school. Like people used to say I had a very like intimidating energy. And I think that maybe it can be a manifestation of like that urge to protect my energy a little bit.
Mm.
Because you know your shit, I feel like. I
Yeah.
feel like you just really know your shit. You know when it's time, like I was saying, like you know when it's time to walk away. You know when it's time to not walk away. You know when it's time to say what you need to say, and you also know the right time when you might need to just shut up for once and actually like just listen and learn and
Hmm.
dive deeper into the situation.
Yeah. Oh my
Ooh,
goodness.
I'm so glad
Well,
that it like resonated.
yeah, that was really yeah, I
I'm
found it
so
really
far, I've never done, I don't do them that often, but I've never
mhm.
had somebody go, yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's just so I'm like 100 for
No,
100.
that
Yeah.
was crazy.
There was another
Even
thing you
from
said.
not the person.
I forget what it was, but I was literally I'm working on this like thing and I was writing something today and I was writing something and you like verbalized like so much of what I was talking about like in my writing and I was like this is so weird. Like I was literally just like
That's
writing about
wild.
all this stuff like a couple hours ago and you're like talking about it and like we met
Written it.
an hour and a half ago. Like it's crazy.
That is because
Um
I like don't I was kind of nervous going into this a little bit because I was like, I don't know, especially like over Zoom because like I've only
oh
ever done
1,000%,
like
yeah.
Mhm.
in-person readings. And so doing over this, I was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. Like, what
Hmm.
if like this like makes absolutely no sense and I'm not able to like get anything, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like I said, when I start reading, sometimes like it's not that I don't go off the cards and I don't read the cards, but I just feel like word vomit starts to come out and
Yeah.
there's just things that are like downloading in my brain and I'm like, whoa,
Hmm.
oh, okay, wait, whoa, this
Yeah,
makes
no.
sense here and this makes sense here.
I also like that you have your own way you go about it.
Mhm.
Like I've
Yeah.
never like the readings I have done have been very like it's been like future, present, past, or you know, what like you said the Celtic cross, and you were just kind of like I just kind of do my own thing and like
It's
and
authentic. It's
you
very
yeah,
authentic.
and
Thanks. Thank
it
And
was
you.
she
like you laid
served.
out like my whole life in front of me, and I was like, oh my God, like
So
Wow.
she's right.
Thanks. I know Becca
yeah.
kind of asked me that like earlier and I was like, I don't really know. I mean, sometimes I do, sometimes when it comes to like my self readings, I definitely do like a layout.
Mhm.
Hmm.
When it comes to other people, I'm like, there's just a vibe here and I gotta roll with it. Like
Yeah.
I just gotta go with what's going at the moment and
Hmm.
Yeah.
just kind of see what happens. I'm so
Yeah.
glad that it like resonated. Even if only like one thing did, that would just make my world. You
Yeah,
know,
no, and a lot
Good.
more than one thing did. Let me tell you.
woo, woo.
Um, but yeah.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Well, good. I'm glad.
Okay. So
That was
now
awesome. My turn.
I want to sit
Very
back and
awesome. Okay,
let my energy
Becca.
relax and see what's going on with my friend Becca.
Well, Becca is, I've been excited to do this because I know like you are getting into reading and
I am interested.
you just give me this vibe of like such a, to compare it slightly to Quinn's, not to compare you two, but just to compare the energy dynamic. Like you give me this very like playful, youthful, like he, and Quinn is very much like ha ha ha, like very just like same, but
So
very
true.
open. He's very fun and vibey, but it's more of like that matured ha ha ha, that like sexy ha ha ha. And you're just like hee. You know what I mean? Very like goofy, silly kind of. So
That
it's
definitely resonates
Yeah.
already.
interested to kind of see. And you've got in your cards read like how many times would you say?
Less than 5. Yeah, there was a witch in Pittsburgh that I saw twice. We did some FaceTime readings and those were cool. I really liked her. But then the love reading was not so much as good vibes.
And that was like the most recent one, right?
Yeah, that was.
I feel like, oh, okay. So I'm just going to give you a little warning. A disclaimer. This is not a bad card. There are no cards that are bad and good cards.
Okay.
So the death card, just
dude, I knew it was gonna but I love this card.
okay,
but
good.
it
I love
always
this
pops
card.
up.
Okay, so you are constantly transforming. And I know that I've always said this to you, that you give me this like, you give me a semi-Scorpio vibe because this I feel like is where this comes in. You're constantly transforming and trying to better yourself and shedding layers of your old self when they no longer fit. Like it's like you go throughout life and you're like, ooh, the shirt, I used to love this when I was 6, but like it doesn't fit me anymore. It's time to let it go. And you have a really good habit of being able to do that. You're not somebody who like has to hold on to things for dear life. You like to change and you like movement. You like to be constantly flowing. You're not a very stagnant person. Seven of Swords reversed, which the Seven of Swords is always about like thievery and trickery. So I feel like you've had to reshift and who you've defined. Now with it being reversed doesn't mean that necessarily somebody has fooled you, but I feel like sometimes you might have fooled yourself into thinking somebody that you're supposed to be, and you've realized that that's not who you're meant to be. And you kind of, it's not that you've had to put on this facade, but you've had to take a step back and go, this is not Becca. This is not the Becca that I want to be. This is not Rebecca. This is me and me trying to figure out who my most authentic self is. And you've understood that through time that comes with adaptation and understanding. And so, 4 of Swords upright. It's like the peaceful sleeper. She's got a sword under here. I feel like there's something, you're very prone to spiritual attacks. And I know that like it's hard because I have a slight bias because I know that you've had that happen to you, but
yeah.
I feel like subtly there are so many people, you radiate such a positive light and such a positive energy into this world, and so many people, and this is a karmic theme that happens for a lot of people. So many people want to take that and steal that away from you, and that's what this thievery, that's what this like keeps you up at night. And it's like you have these daggers hanging above you, but like I just picture you in this bubble where you're protected because you're meant to be protected. Like you're meant to be enlightened and you're meant to really show people their inner light. You're supposed to bring out the happiness in other people, whether you realize it or not. You do a really good job at it. Ace of Swords reverse. So that is really what you have to understand and triumph, because I feel like you know that to a certain extent. Sometimes it's not, it's not always necessarily real is what I heard. And I feel like sometimes you feel like you might have to fake it to make other people feel better and to make other people really like, you might crack a joke that's really not even funny just to make somebody laugh, but like you didn't even want to tell the joke in the first place because you're like, it's not really a funny joke, but they bought it, and that is what gave you comfort. So I get this vibe of like you have shifted so much, and at the end of the day what matters most to you is really what is that? 6 Pentacles. Like, you're able to find though about like as you've matured, as you've found and shed more layers of yourself, you've found this balance of giving and receiving and learning what you're supposed to give and what you're supposed to take and when you're supposed to just take a step back and just let it go. So this is like the little card, and he's giving coins to one guy and then the other is begging. So like I said, you've maybe in the past, maybe not so much in the present, but in the past, like I said, like doing what it takes to make somebody else happy and not necessarily yourself. You've understood that through development, this isn't always necessarily like the right thing for you. And so that is what you're really learning in this moment right now. And I'll tell you, because I know that like, just because I know you, I know that love is predominantly like on your mind and you're like, ooh, like when's it going to happen and whatnot. And you are deserving and you need to know that. And you don't need to find that elsewhere. You have to find that within yourself first. And being able to balance giving and taking is a huge theme right now. You have the Moon card, which has to do, it's ruled by Scorpio. So I just get, so the Death card is ruled by Capricorn, I'm pretty sure. I think, I forget. The Moon card is ruled by Scorpio. It's got the little lobster in there, and Moon card has to do with, so one thing that's not talked about that I feel like with this card is the moon, there's 2 towers in between.
Yeah.
Side of the moon has to do with, once again, balance, that positive and negative force, that masculine and feminine energy, that inwardness and outwardness. And later in the major arcana, you have the Tower card. And so once you approach these 2 towers, you have to understand that really only you have to find the balance with both. So both have to stay standing, and one might crumble and fall, but you have to understand that building one back up is truly transformative and healing. And I think that that's what goes back into the Death card. The Chariot, which I had a feeling was going to pop up with you because you give me Chariot vibes, this like quick, and like things are always, you're able to manifest things. Sometimes people talk about how the Chariot card has to do with like a new car, a new job, a new, not necessarily a new relationship, but it's like a new way for you to, if a relationship is what you're trying to manifest, the Chariot card tells you that you're on the right path, that's speeding you up to get to that final destination. It's really like, okay, so you're the man that's walking on the side of the road hitchhiking, and some limo comes along and you just magically get in the limo and like 10 times quicker got to where you needed to be. That's what the Chariot card introduces into your life. 10 of Pentacles reversed. So once again, it's that like giving and taking energy. I feel like you're just really, what it comes down to, it goes into that like that young kid energy where like you just love seeing people happy. You love being happy, and you love just smiles and good and positivity. However, though, it's not that you haven't done the work introspectively, but there are things that are tough in life. And there are things that you have to walk away from. And not everybody, you're not going to be able to please everybody. And that's a huge part of maybe why you haven't gotten to the place where you want to be, whether it is romantically or career-wise. You have to do what's best for yourself. And if doing what's best for yourself is recreating and redefining who you are, by finding a balance between sharing yourself with others, then that might be the case. 3 of Pentacles reversed, which you have a lot of Pentacles too. So I would say that it has to do a lot with career, like any type of career theme, or anything that has to do with finances, but I don't really get that. I just get that you're trying to build a stable future. You feel like you don't have all the necessary tools, which I would feel like the Magician card reverse would pop up right now, because the Magician card talks about finding a balance between, as above, so below, and he has on his table all of the trumps in the suits. And it's being able to manifest really what it is that you want in life. And there's something that's blocking that. It's like you went to Acacia, you just bought a dresser, you have everything, but you didn't realize that you needed a screwdriver. And so now you have to run out to the store and get a screwdriver. But being able to like laugh and giggle about all of that is what helps you get through it. But you still end up wondering, well, damn, how did I miss not getting a screwdriver? And then you kind of like beat yourself up over it. And so it's like being able to, that fun energy that you give off to others, you have to share with yourself sometimes. I want to pull the moon card because I know that you have a lot of cancer placements, and it's ruled by the moon.
Do.
Ruled by
Sure
the moon,
do.
baby.
Moon in
Which
Cancer.
we have a new moon coming up, which is a great time
Ooh.
to manifest,
Okay.
to work inward. So the new moons is what you want to ask for. It's what you want to see in your life. And that's when you the projects that you want to work on, that's when you start thinking about them and you start picturing yourself doing them in full completion. Then as we get to the full moon, that's when that is the right time to start the new project and whatnot. And then you're thankful for the progress that you've been able to make.
Okay.
And stuff like that. Sometimes you're not a very serious person, and I feel like sometimes asking yourself serious questions can be not challenging, but you just don't do it as often as maybe you should. I feel like you have full moon.
Of course.
Well, yes.
Surrender to the divine. And I flipped over the deck because I felt called to, and you have full moon in Virgo. So 2 full moons, full moon in Virgo, you are good enough is the second. So being able to, like, for instance, like, okay, well, why haven't I found, I make other people happy and I'm such a nice person and I see all these other people happy, and why haven't I gotten to that why do I feel like I have to always change who I am to be happy? But being able to find comfort in that and releasing and surrendering and noticing that that is what's putting you in through this journey. That's what's getting you to that destination. It's like accepting it a little bit because you're so young and you have so much ahead of you, and being able to surrender and understand that and work through it is what is going to really make such a difference in the end, and what's going to make you more thankful for when it is that when you get to what you want to be doing or who you want to be with or where you want to be. Boundaries. Boundaries. So like I was kind of talking about earlier, finding, and how we've all been, the major theme of like this whole conversation, I feel like, has being able to take a step back and balance sharing yourself with others. And understanding that somebody else's pain is not always your burden to take on. And being able to set that boundary up and realize that you come first. Friendship. So maybe that's setting boundaries through friendship. Maybe you have, not necessarily like with a friend, but it could be any kind of relationship with any dynamic. Like maybe somebody is just wanting too much of you, and it's taking away your energy and time to focus on other things and focus on whether that's you or focus on, projects that you want to do. But I feel like you definitely also got family, and it's like the sun, the full moon in the back a little bit. So maybe finding more time with your family and doing more things that are family oriented might be a way for you to heal and understand what boundaries you've had to build in your life and for what reasons, and finding things through family oriented, projects or relationships, dynamics might be that screwdriver that you didn't realize you needed to have to build a dresser. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what I get a little bit. Which I feel like there's more to you. I want to crack that case, but I want to do it with you like one-on-one in person if you would be willing to do that, because there's like some kind of deeper, and I feel like there's something. It's like an iceberg where it's like there's like a tip and like the big bottom, and you're like, whoa, you didn't realize how big the iceberg is. I feel like there's so much more that I could talk about, but I feel like I need you energetically.
Of course. Well, 1,000% I will do that.
Mhm.
I'll
But
just bring
this
my cards to work next time.
sounds good. We'll take a meal.
Literally on the clock.
No, but that a lot of what you said, and I mean, I'm into astrology, so I'm obviously thinking about how my astrology plays into all this the whole time.
Yeah.
And so like all my Cancer placements are in the eighth house, which is like the house of death and transformation.
Yeah.
And I'm a Pisces
I
moon in
just
the fourth
thought about
house.
that. Yeah.
So in the fourth house is like family and like
Yes.
home and
And
stuff like that. So
Cancer,
that
and I
makes so much
know
sense.
that we had like when we talked about you being in Cancer earlier, you had
Hmm.
like made the like, and I was like, because you talked about it being in your North Node, and I was saying,
Hmm.
like that's your karmic mission in this life to really truly develop into what being a Cancer truly means, like embodying the full energy of a Cancer. And you're like,
Hmm.
family and like at home or whatever. And so maybe you haven't really cracked that code just yet, and that's what you
Hmm.
might have to kind of work on a little bit, or dibble dabble here and there, and kind of like understand on a deeper level, like what is family, what does family mean to me, how do I define family, how do
Hmm.
I see myself in a family dynamic, and what is all of that, what does that mean for me.
Yeah.
Definitely, that's crazy that you had 2 full moon cards. That was also wild.
I'm just a moon girl. Like it's
Are
just
the
Yeah.
so
moon.
Becca
She
loves the
is the
moon.
moon.
yeah, I'm so moon. It's so true.
Moon coded.
Which I always, fun fact, because I'm in love with the moon myself.
Hmm.
If I ever have like a little animal or something like that, like Moon would definitely be the name. Like ever since I was a kid, like
Oh
Moon,
yeah.
for sure, for sure, for sure.
Oh yeah. Like Sailor Moon's cat is named Luna. That's so
Mm,
something I would do.
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Luna. Yeah.
Luna, baby Luna.
No, but Acacia, I definitely resonated with that. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like something like part of my New Year's resolution was to like get back to me. And we talked
Okay.
about like Quinn and I talked about that. And I'm like, uh, like, of course the death card popped out. I feel like I am always changing. That's just like something about me.
Mm-hmm.
And especially like in the past year, I've had to kind of like filter through like, okay, what is actually like, what do I like? What do I care about
What
without
is that?
Mm-hmm.
thinking about like other people? Exactly. And
Yeah.
like figure
Yeah.
that out.
Ooh,
So
okay. So that just hit
definitely.
me on a much deeper level of like, okay, this whole balance of giving and taking, and being able to self-reflect through that and understand
Hmm.
what truly is yours to give, what truly is just yours to have and to hold for yourself and you only.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Boundaries. Yeah,
Oh my
wow.
goodness.
I'm so glad. Okay, I'm so glad because like
She's
that's one
done
of
it again.
No, this
my
is really
biggest,
good. Like,
yeah, one of my biggest things I'm like so scared of is, like I said, somebody going, eh, meh. You know?
No, I felt like that. I resonate with that so much. And like
mm-hmm.
the cards that I was thinking about, of course, popped out. Like,
I had a feeling about the Chariot card earlier today, and it was I was like, I just have this feeling, and I was trying to think about like what it was going to mean, and it was hard to, because I was like, well, I'll have to kind of see like what's going on, what the vibe is, but I,
mhm.
whatever reason, like the Chariot card is something that I pictured, and I was debating if I should tell you or not, and then I was like, no, because then if it doesn't happen, then it's like crazy.
But you
Mm-hmm.
And
mentioned it earlier. It is a card I get a lot too.
really,
Like, yes, anything with eight, the death card I see all the time, and then the moon. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think I've gotten one of those cards before too. Maybe the was it the Five of Wands that I got?
yeah.
Does that have any association with like money at all?
Five of Wands. So it can, depending on how you're reading it. So if you, some readers typically in a reading, they'll sit and they'll be like, okay, think about what you want answered, why you want it answered. And sometimes they'll ask you, and if you're wondering about money, it can be related in that sense. Because wands bring
Okay.
in, it's swift energy. So if it's relating to money, it could be something of like, okay, things have been chaotic with your finances right now.
Mm-hmm.
And what you really need to be seeking is stability.
Yeah.
Um, so it can be translated differently with things like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
translated it as in like your inner dialogue
Yeah.
is what I said, was it was chaotic a little bit with your inner
Mm-hmm.
dialogue. So yeah, it's just because
Okay.
cards can mean so many different things in so
Yeah.
many different ways, which is
And that's
wild.
that's one of the fun things about going to different readers is
Right.
getting everybody's different inputs on the
Take.
cards. It's
Yeah.
also really interesting.
Yeah. Well, I know when I first started reading, I would ask that question. I'd be like, okay, so think about something that you want answered and why you want it answered, but don't tell me. Like, because some readers want you to tell them, so then they have something to like go off of.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember so many times like it worked so well where I didn't know what the person I was reading for really wanted to know. And then by the reading was over, they were like, whoa. Like that really like that, yeah, that hit the spot.
Oh,
Yeah, that's awesome.
well, yeah, that was amazing.
Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for letting me read you guys. That was so
Of
much fun.
course.
Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you for
for
reading
giving your
us.
gift.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It felt bad. It felt good. It felt very
Yeah, that was really
Hey.
cool.
And Becca, we're gonna go deeper one day.
I am
Yes.
ready. I'll bring my journal
I
and my
implore.
tissues.
We have them at work, don't worry.
Good.
We finally
Multiple
have the
tissues.
Yeah, but we're gonna throw to one more little break and then we'll be right
Yup.
back to get into our segments.
Yippee doo.
Guys, I'm scared.
Welcome back, my friend.
Actually, I'll save that one. That's a good idea for one. But anyway,
Okay, cool.
welcome back,
All right.
guys.
So, guys, we're back. And guess what? Yeah, you guessed it. It's our freaking comment corner of the week
Mhm.
right now.
Literally.
Our first weekly segment that we always do every time, all the time. And
Provided.
you guys send them in. So that's the thing that we
Exactly.
actually just needed to bring up real quick is that you guys do need to email in to manicpixiejumpscare@gmail.com or start leaving comments on our Instagram and TikTok more frequently. Because when you don't, it's really, really rude and it's not nice and you're being bad.
Literally.
But when you send things in, you're being good.
And we'll accept them in any form. We're about to read one in an interesting format. And I have another one, and you can DM us on Instagram. You can DM.
Oh, yeah.
Can you DM people you don't follow on TikTok
It's not true.
or who don't follow you?
It's not true, but you can easily leave a comment on a TikTok video of ours. Yes, a TikTok, if you will.
And sometimes, guys, I'm gonna be honest, there aren't that many, so they start to stand out.
Yeah, exactly.
We never know what's gonna hit with the algorithm. So
right. We never know. It's true. So do what you can and just start to deliver more on that. So yeah, deliver.
Precisely.
Okay. Yeah. So this comment corner this week is actually from an Instagram story reply. That Quinn posed so eloquently.
I did. I have been taking some liberties with our Instagram story. Because I was like, let me join the social media game.
Yeah, of course.
I think
it's
fun.
Should.
I think it's fun to shit post on our podcast.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It is good. Yes.
Usually only podcast related paraphernalia, but this one was another one where I was like, inbox dry. Can we get some? And I did the courtesy of making it a highlight for you all. So it's under the highlight comment corner, and you can go and leave them there now, and we will be checking.
Yeah, exactly. So just know that. No, we are watching.
If you for some reason don't have an email account, which you do need to make an Instagram.
Sorry.
That would be impressive, and we would want to talk to you about that potentially. But again, you have to meet us there.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so this is one of those story replies, and it is actually from Kat, the lady who harbored us this weekend. And it reads, I think Ugg boots should be worn year round. They're so cunty. And Kat, I do want to thank you for this. Because I see you. I appreciate you. And I side with you ultimately.
Yes. Style maven, Kat Nardi. Changed her outfit 3 times to go to Swifty night.
Yeah. back and forth. And decided. Yeah, I mean, that's why there are so many UGG sizes and lengths and fits is for every season of the year. All 2 of them.
Yeah, now that with the
Mhm.
climate change, the climate
Yeah.
change. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
there were these UGG like little clogs that had like a little strap on the back of them, and I remember posting them on my close friends' Instagram, being like, "Guys, are these cunty?" It was like in 2020 or 2021, and I was
Okay.
debating getting those when I still had the income coming in, but
Right.
now those would seem like a far-fetched purchase.
Yeah. The income has ceased.
I was looking at a pair of sneakers. I bought the same sneakers and I found a color of them that's like beautiful and I was like, "Oh, how much are they?" And I was like, "I don't remember paying this much for them." And then I went and looked. I still had the receipt in my email. They've gone up $10 since I bought them in like January.
Ooh. No, I swear everything has it's really terrible.
Have you guys heard of
What are people
inflation? I
gonna
think that's
do?
what's going on here.
I'm
I'm not
in
sure
my
if many
professional
people are talking
opinion,
about it.
yeah, I don't know. That's just what I personally think is going on.
Yeah,
But who's to say?
as an economist. And Becca did during our break remind me of something that Kat said this weekend, which is probably the hardest I've laughed in like a solid month. I
Yeah.
was crying laughing at this. Um,
It was so
so we were
good.
just hanging out in Kat's room. I think we were getting ready to go to the board game place.
Yeah.
And Kat looks at me and goes, "Do my lips look bigger than last time you saw me?" And I had just never taken a notice the size of my friend Kat's lips. And
Yeah.
I thought about it for like a couple seconds and I was like, honestly, I cannot give you an answer.
Fair enough.
And she goes, "Oh, because I started taking collagen supplements." And then
And as a beauty ambassador, I was
exactly.
like, wait, I said, is that supposed to make your lips bigger?
And Kat goes, "Well, no." And I just I freaking lose it. Like
I freaking lose
I
it, dude.
freaking lost it, dude. I was absolutely bawled out laughing at this. Because it was just so like it was something so funny about it. Like the timing was perfect as well. Like it was very like
The
like
complete sincerity,
the yes,
like
the complete. It's like it brings up a thousand questions instantly. Like if it doesn't guarantee that, then why did you ask if it did that? Like it'd be like, do I look? Does my hair look blonder than the last time you saw me? Me being like, I don't know, and it'd be like, oh, because I took ibuprofen yesterday.
does
Like
it do
it's
that?
yeah.
Well, no.
Well, no, actually, I don't think so. And like,
Correlation is causation is
it's like a
effect
non
is
sequitur, but like as a question, like I guess a question can be a non sequitur, but it's like something in that realm, like just completely out of the blue.
it's foolishness.
Yeah, foolish, fool jester behavior, and for that reason, we do love Kat, and she is one of the
Yeah,
icons of our community.
exactly.
Um,
It was a good hee-haw.
and so we did have to share that as well.
Yeah.
But Kat, thank you for writing in, and you guys
Yes,
can be
thank you.
featured so easily on this show,
Just like that.
literally.
Just like that. All right. So then, now that we've done our common corner, we move on to our jump scare of the week. This
Mhm.
is anything Quinn and I found a little frightful, not so good, not so great. Generally just not cool. So Quinn, what was that moment for you this week?
So after Becca left, wheels start to come off, is what I always like to say.
Yeah.
And so that starts to happen on Sunday a little bit. So yeah, Ian and I spend like another hour or something in bed. But then right next to Kat's house, there's like a little farmer's market on Sundays. So usually when Kat and I go out on Saturdays, we can wake up and go to the farmer's market. And it's like such a fun little morning.
Mhm.
And so we go over and we peruse the farmer's market. I buy a couple different types of bread. I think I actually bought
Okay.
4 different types of bread. Not like loaves of bread, but like, I bought like a cornbread, a little muffin, pepperoni bread, and focaccia. It's like some good stuff going on over there.
Ooh.
And it's like reasonably priced. They haven't heard about inflation at the farmer's market. So it's like, okay, let's go.
Nice.
And then usually I just eat whatever that is for like a little breakfast or something. But Ian was like, "Oh, can we go back to that like bagel place?" We had gone to the $50 bagel place
Right.
the day before. And so Ian was like, "Oh, can we go back there and get some breakfast?" And we were like, "Sure." And so it's like, what is that? It's like 10 10:30 or something at this point. No, maybe 10:45. And I have to be, my train leaves at like 11:56 or something. And so I'm like, oh, we probably have time. And so then we go to the bagel, we like go put our stuff down, and then we go to the bagel place. We order our bagels, and the bagels take a long time.
Mm.
And then so I'm starting to brick it a little bit. And so then we're walking back, and I'm like, okay, I have like literally just enough time. And so I was like, oh, Ian, go get your car, and I'll like get all the stuff, and then we can meet you. And so then I don't know what was going on, but Ian took like a good like 7, 8 to 10 minutes getting his car. And I was like, I don't exactly know what caused all that, but anyway. And then we like go and load up his car, and he has to go to the bathroom. And I was like, okay. And then we drive to the train station, and I'm like literally, so my train had been delayed for like 7 minutes or something. And so I was like, oh, perfect amount of time. And then the train is like, oh, actually, just kidding. We're like going to be arriving at like 11:58. So it was only like a 2-minute delay. And so I'm literally like
Ooh.
walking in. It said its new like departure time was 12:01. I'm literally walking into the station at 11:59. And this is a gripe with Amtrak, because
Okay.
Amtrak, like they don't like, or the stations or whatever, they don't update like their signage. And so my train said like, oh, status departed. And I was like, oh, what the, and then I was like, I like hesitated for a minute, and then I like went down to the platform, and I'm like, well, since it was delayed, it might be like, it might still be there, but it might just say departed because they haven't like switched it in the system. And I go down
Mhm.
to the platform. The train is literally like pulling out of the station. Like I'm watching the train I was supposed to be on
No.
like go like literally right away. And I'm like, and it's so like, it's so frustrating, because it's like literally if one thing had taken 1 minute quicker, like
You would have made it.
I would have made the train 2 minutes. Like if like one thing, if we like hadn't hit a red light, like if we had hit one less red light, if we had like, that's like really bothersome.
Oh
And
boy.
anyway, and I was bragging about the good deal I got on tickets, because both my tickets to get there and back were $9. $9 a
Amazing.
piece. Amazing deal. And then my ticket to go home was more expensive than that. It still wasn't as expensive as if I had driven my car and parked for 2 days, plus the gas it would have taken to go back and forth, but
Yeah.
it was superfluous in a time where my bills have already been affected. So, and so,
Right. Of course.
and then I I get to the station, and my mom was gonna pick me up, but then she texted me and be like, I can't pick you up anymore. Can you Uber home from the station? And I was like, okay, I guess. And so then I get home, and I call an Uber up. And I get inside this Uber, and I'm like, okay, everything's fine. And then I realize the car like looks fine, but there's some stuff going on with the engine, girl. Like the
Oh.
brakes are dunk, 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 like every time we're like stopping, it's like a kind of thing going on. Like I don't
Oh,
know if the guy
girl.
was like doing that, or like I don't know why you would do that as an Uber driver. Also it was making some like weird ass noises. Like it did it. I was fully like, what is gonna happen with this?
Oh
Um,
no.
and but I did make it home safely,
Okay. Thank God.
fortunately. Um, but yeah, so my journey home on Sunday was not the most glamorous thing I've ever been through in my entire life,
A
we'll
little
say that.
spooky.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
little spooky, and that's why it's a jump scare. It's quite aptly named in this program that Becca and I have
Segment of
produced
ours.
and
Yeah.
created the format for.
Yeah.
And so that was my jump scare. But Becca, what even was your jump scare this week?
So my jump scare is just like a little baby one. And that is that since the weather has been so nice,
Uh-huh.
something that I kind of forgot about that happens is like that ice cream truck comes out.
Oh, you have an ice cream truck?
So yeah, and it goes around the neighborhood in which I usually take my walks in.
Mm-hmm.
So I encounter it actually a fair amount. Um, and the driver of the ice cream truck, I don't know. He just keeps waving at me in like a way that is just creeping me out so hard.
Ooh.
Yeah, and also the music of the truck. Usually it's like Da, 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 da. Ice cream now.
Mhm.
Yummy, yummy. But this one is like ding, dong, ding. Like the most haunting, like creepy carnival music ever.
Oh,
It's like so haunted. I honestly don't believe if it's a true ice cream truck or if it's just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm
drugs.
coming into my mediumship.
Literally. You're like, I don't have a good feeling about it.
I don't.
I've heard ice cream truck sounds where it's when the Saints go marching in.
Gonna
So
Fair
he's not
enough.
hot.
Not at all,
Ugh,
dude. So disappointing, right?
literally.
Yeah, it's just too bad. It's just too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And ice cream's a thing that's supposed to bring joy to people.
exactly. This guy's creeping me the frick out, dude.
Uh-huh.
So just be
Well,
careful. It's
yeah, be
that time of
careful out there.
year.
If somebody has ice cream, do not accept ice cream from strangers
Never.
unless you're paying them for it. Then
Right.
usually it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. A fair payment.
Barter
Don't
economy.
don't take anything too cheap. Oh, I bartered with someone the other day.
I
I forget, but I
love
was
a
like,
good
"Oh my God,
barter
I'm
economy.
enacting the barter." Yeah. Once I remember what it was, I'll have to let you
I think
know.
we might have been
But I
talking
just
about it. It
don't.
might have been with us.
We talked, but then I remember being like, "Oh, Quinn, I just talked about this, and I'm
Now
bartering
I'm
right now."
bartering. Hey guys, we need to start trading goods and services for when the money system eventually collapses and all we have left is Cole's
Exactly.
cash
Yeah. Yep. And I'm gonna have
and
so
Kim's
much.
cash
Of course.
and
Of
Ulta
course.
rewards points. What is it?
Ulta point loyalty points. Yeah.
Ulta loyalty points. Exactly.
Yep. 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 Alrighty. Well, that's our scary. That's our not great. Now we move on to the Manic Pixie moment, which is something that was so sly, so incredible, so
Uh-huh.
amazing that
Uh-huh.
we just like couldn't quite believe it. So, Quinn,
Exactly.
what was it for you this week?
So the second night when we did Taylor Swift karaoke,
Mm-hmm.
people were like, "Oh, what are we singing at Taylor Swift karaoke?" And I said, "Mary's song. That's what I'm gonna sing."
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like the question kept getting asked because my friend Kat like kept posing the question of like, "Oh, what are we gonna sing?" And I'm like, I'm not sure why you weren't listening, or maybe you didn't take me seriously, or I don't know what's going on. But I said I was gonna sing Mary's song, and
Mm-hmm.
so
I'm gonna
that's
do
just
that.
gonna be what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Mm-hmm.
a liar. When have I ever lied in my life? Literally never. And so I was like, okay, but I did have my concerns. It's a debut. It's a debut track. It's a little bit of a B-side off
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Swift's debut. And so I was like, okay,
A classic though.
yeah. And then we got to the bar and we like wrote it down on the slips. And then I turned my slip in first out of the group. And I was like, okay, well, I wanted to kind of wait until more people showed up, but luckily more people did show up by the time it started. But people, like everybody else went before me. Like I'm pretty sure all of you sang before me, even though you had turned in your
Mm-hmm.
slips after me. And so I was like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Does he not have Mary's song in the system? And then
Scary.
next up, Quinn. And then I was
Cute.
like, yeah, actually, yeah. And
You better
that so then
believe
I
it.
go up and then the little and then little guitar riff starts and people are like, oh my God. There were some Mary Song enjoyers in the crowd. And
Yes, I
there were
would
the
say
words,
most people.
yeah, the words on the screen were too. And I think people appreciated that I was doing a deeper cut.
Mm-hmm. Most
Um,
certainly.
and then I sang it out. I like to do a little crowd work with karaoke. Sometimes I'm speaking into the mic, I'm adding
Yeah.
things. I also did this little, I can't remember what it was exactly, but I put my own sauce on one of the lines a little bit, and I was like, that was kind of good. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I just felt accepted by the community in that moment. And Swifties really had my back in a moment where I wasn't sure if they were going to, and I just find that something so beautiful about the community. Like,
No, like it's so true. Like you guys are my best friends in this whole room, and like I
I
love
don't know,
you.
I love you.
So much. It's great.
Anyway.
No, you're so right though. Like the energy in the room like was electric again in that
It was
moment.
a small but mighty crowd.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll say that
No,
much.
yeah, and vibes of karaoke. I've never been to a karaoke where, well, Becca's been booed off the stage at karaoke famously, but I've never been to karaoke where the vibes were like rancid.
Right, right. Yeah.
Like usually people are just trying to have a
right.
good time, but I know my experience isn't everyone's experience. I'll say that.
Yeah. It's just I think if you catch Tequila Cowboy on the wrong day, like you're just gonna run into some people who don't really appreciate the art of karaoke. So
Literally.
it is what it
They don't know
is.
no better. But
Yeah.
anyway, no time to focus on that because Becca, it is time to share your manic pixie
Hmm.
moment of the work.
Yeah.
So what even was that this week?
So this may seem like a jump scare at first, but I'm actually gonna just like
Take
look
you
at
on a
it in a
journey.
positive
Yeah.
light. Yeah. And this actually happened before the weekend, so I substituted last week. And something so goofy happened at when I was at the high school
Mm-hmm.
substituting. And that is
Uh-huh.
I had this like free period and I was being so sweet and I went down to the office first and I was like, "Hey, like I have this free period. Do you want me to fill in anywhere?" And they were like, "No, but we just love you. Like you're so sweet and so cool." And I was like, "Thank you so much." And then I went to the teacher's lounge then, which I'm allowed to go to
Yeah.
because I was like, "It's my prep. It's my prep period. I'm gonna
My
go
prep
chill.
period.
My prep." Um
I'm
and
prepping my TikTok.
you better believe it. So what did I do but sit there? And then I was kind of like alone in there. And then a
Mhm.
woman barges in and she was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa." And so then I was like, "Oh,
You're
I'm
like,
just like
Leanne,
sitting
what's this
here.
energy?
What's going on?" And then like I kind of like like dangled out my like substitute badge and she she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were a student."
She said you look 14 or 7 or something.
Exactly. And so I was like, "Oh my God, I'm just so young and gorgeous." Like they wouldn't even
Literally.
know. Yeah, and then that was actually confirmed today when at work at Ulta Beauty, a woman came up to me and out of nowhere just goes, "Well, don't you look about 11 years old?" And I said, "Ma'am, I'm a professional and I'm actually 16. Thank you so much."
Exactly.
No, but
I got
like it's
my
crazy.
driver's license last week.
Always talked about. I don't really know the words to that song. Shout out to her though. Anyway, so I'm so youthful. It was also matched with a great energy when I fully got checked out by one of my old teachers at the high school. And I was like, "Oh, wow."
A lot of people, and I don't know if they're ever like actually being sincere, but there are a lot of like OnlyFans people who make like TikToks being like, there's like that whole there's like the sound that they were all doing. It's like, don't mind me just watching. Don't mind me just watching. And it was like me after starting an OnlyFans, and it'll be like, oh, my old teachers, kids who used to bully me, and I was like, ooh.
Mm, yeah. This
He
particular
had
teacher
you like
is
in
hot.
class.
Yeah,
So
we'll see. Dot dot dot.
you're shipping Ari and Ezra all of a sudden.
I always shipped them, and then I realized I was wrong later in life.
You said I had to realize I was poisoned.
Yeah, poison in the brain. Yeah.
There must be
But
worms on the
guys,
brain.
worms on the brain. That would be a great karaoke, and you change the words.
Must
No,
be
no
worms
warning.
on the brain. You get up and you're like doing a parody in real time.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be so confusing and cool.
Literally.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm just so such a baby face and it's something that
That's so interesting because you do cover your tattoos like at the school, right? A little bit, right?
well, like mostly, but there are a lot of high schoolers
Children
with
who have tattoos, yeah.
tattoos. Yeah.
Kids in like my middle school had tattoos.
Yeah, some of them. It's crazy. I think in Pennsylvania you can be 14 and just have your parent with you and you can get
Mm-hmm.
one.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, so they were like, but it would be kind of impressive for I mean, obviously her arms like weren't like out, but like when Becca's arms are out, she has like a lot of tattoos.
Yeah, so many. It would just
Mm-hmm.
be like how would a child get like the
How to
finances?
accumulate that?
Yeah, but how did I even get the
That's something
how,
I never understand about tattoo. Like I feel like I don't think about the fact that tattoos cost money.
yeah, I don't really
And
think about it
actually
too
they're
until I'm
quite
there.
expensive
Yeah.
from what I understand.
Yeah. Thank God I had my little like friend at school. that would like, you know,
Tattoo you
charge me
up.
not so much. Yeah, because she became my friend over time.
Literally.
I've gotten a fair amount of free tattoos as well, but yeah, they are so expensive. It's crazy.
Hmm.
But it is permanent, so you do want it to be good. So I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, yeah, guys.
yeah. This feels so weird when we do these because like it's like we've been doing
we just
we've
talked
been
about
talking for 10 whole minutes, but it's like we've already come to the end of our program.
exactly the
Um,
program.
and by 10 minutes we mean an hour because we don't have the same concept of time as some other people.
Mm-mm-mm-mm. Oh no, our program. It's ended.
It's ended. Well, not quite yet because Becca, if people want to follow you, how can they do so these days?
They can follow me on Instagram at Becca Hobart,
Mhm.
TikTok, where y'all going during World War III, Twitter and Spotify Bex Gloss. And they can also find me Quinn, where the people keep up with you individually if they are so inclined.
You can find me at Quinn P. Murphy on both Instagram and TikTok. And you can find me at Quinn P. Murphy _ on Twitter. And you can also find me at Becca. Where can people follow the show? Where can people follow the show if they want to keep up with the comings and goings of MPJ?
Oh, well, they can follow at Manic Pixie Jumpscare on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, where we post the podcast at length and video form. Usually, it's gotten a lot better lately, guys.
Yes. By
Like,
lately, we mean
yeah.
last week.
Yes, and that is something.
Guys, I
can't
think we
ignore
might have
it.
turned the corner. More on that next
Yeah.
week. But
Of course.
if nothing more interesting happens in my life, which, guys, is very possible.
Certainly possible, actually.
Stay-at-home son life is not that interesting.
Turns out. And then guys, please email in at manicpixiejumpscare@gmail.com.
Mhm.
And just remember, it's all up from here.
And if it's up, then it's stuck.
We're Quinn. And we're Becca. And thank you for listening. That's interesting.
Manic Pixie Jump Scare is hosted by Quinn Murphy
and Becca Hobart. Executive produced by Quinn Murphy and Becca Hobart.
Sound and video editing by Quinn Murphy.
Social media management and highlights by Becca Hobart.
And our theme song was written by Quinn Murphy, Becca Hobart, and Nandita Mahesh.